Well, good morning and welcome, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are at the time. But right now it's 7 o'clock in the morning. There's actually light, and it has come on just like a light switch again. In the last half hour, it was pitch black half an hour ago. And just wanted to show you catch up on Auntie's Secret Garden. Well, here we are, Auntie's Secret Garden. Well, it will be by the time we finish, because there's lots of different compartments of this garden, as I've shown you before. And as you can see, I have been clearing and cleaning out, as well as nature. All the trees have been stripped of their leaves, ready to hunker down for the winter and save their energy for the new year and have a little sleep. And just 3 days ago, I had actually swept the entire garden of the leaves and put them on the beds so that I could put the mulch of the leaves on the beds. You'd never tell. It's just that time of year. Sometimes it's pointless sweeping up leaves until the trees have shed every leaf and then sweep it up. Unless, of course, the paths are going to be slippery. But there you are. This has all been tidied up. Things moved. And this too. I've cleared this path so we could actually walk up it and cut some of the ivy away. But this part over there, and all of that still has to be done. That's phenomenal. How much work has to be done over there. But this section has been cleared. That section there has been cleared, because that's a type of hydrangea. I don't know what it is. I can't remember. It's got pretty flowers, but it always reminds me of a hydrangea, though it's not. So I'm not sure what it is. Somebody might be able to tell me in the comments section. But in this section, all the way through here, the lilac trees have set seed and sprouted up, and they were about 2 or 3 year old whips all over the place. They've just spread. So I cut them all down, just chopped and dropped to cover the soil, protect it for the winter. And underneath that section there, before I did all the chop and drop, there was some nice mycelium under the ground there. So a lovely little mycorrhizal community under the ground there, so protecting that for the winter. I've chopped away some of the undergrowth of the trees and the lower branches to keep the canopy at the top, but that will be kept at a manageable height as well, and to allow light and air into the bottom there. Same as with the laurel, I trimmed away a lot of the growth growing under there so that we could actually reach in, light and air would come in, but keep it at a manageable height. So that's done. The roses, I've cleared out all the bindweed. The brambles, oh my gosh, there was loads of brambles. You wouldn't believe it. That's where all the lush greenery came from, but it was absolutely overrunning everything. Over here was absolutely smothered in creeping buttercup, rose bay willow herb, some grasses, some brambles and all sorts. So that's been cleared. I'm going to deep sheet mulch over here. When I've leveled the ground, I'm going to rake it all level and sheet mulch, and then put as much wood chips and mostly compost, because I want to use that in the spring. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these stones everywhere, so I'm going to gather them up and use them as edging, because I think I need to put some veggie beds in here. We'll try anyway. That greenhouse has to be cleared, but it's been nice to actually get this lot cleared. I've also cleared a little bit of the weeds around here. There's still lots to do, but at least I can reach parts now. That all has to be cleared, all the rubble. That little corner is cleared nicely. And you know what I found in this garden is just a perfect example of leaving piles of leaves and plants that you've chopped in a pile somewhere in the garden. I mean, I had a pile of stuff over there waiting to go in the green bin, and over the few weeks that I had waited, a lot of the stuff underneath and the leaves had rotted away, and the worms had turned it into a beautiful worm compost. It was beautiful. So when I lifted all the dead stuff up that wouldn't compost and put it in the bin, there was a beautiful lot of soil there, so I put that onto the bed. So that is just a beautiful example of piles of plant material left in spots all over the garden and in place, and it will rot down. So That's why the chop and drop works so beautifully. Very quickly it turns to soil. All the microbes, all the little insects, all the worms and the mycorrhizal layer turn all this stuff into beautiful soil. So that's what I thought was a perfect example this week working in this garden. I mean, even little piles like that very quickly rot down. But I'm going to move that because I don't want it to damage the concrete anymore. But I will move that onto the bed. But it was just such a lovely example. I mean, even this is the remnants of a pile of stuff waiting to go in the bin. Beautiful example of how nature works. Just lovely. And of course, discovering all the ferns over here. So perfect opportunity to clear out a bit more and incorporate some Solomon seal, some hostas and things like that, because this is obviously a lovely little woodlandy type corner over here, a shaded corner, and if the ferns like it, so will the hostas and so will Solomon seal and other plants like that. So that's going to be lovely. I also did discover along this bed, I think I told you the last time I did a video, there is some sweet violets that have just turned up all by themselves. Look, I don't know if you can see it. Just there, sweet violet, all by itself, came up. And of course, all these leaves blow into the garden from the hedge out the front there, past the front of the gate. Now, this area, if you remember, I had cleared of all the bindweed, which had absolutely been choking these roses. And look at it now. Beautiful. And that is just clearing all the bindweed out the way because it was choking it, and I sheet mulched on the ground. And look underneath, you can't see in this light, it's too dark yet, but underneath that newspaper it's beautiful. And I have continued to sweep up leaves, as I said, and mulch all over the place. This is the pyracantha from the front garden where I trimmed the hedge, the bush there, and I've just piled it on here. The leaves will come off onto the ground, and then in the spring, when all the leaves are off these, I can shred them with a shredder and then put that on the soil as well. So it's a bit less work to do. I don't have it now, I need a new shredder. So once I get a new shredder and all the leaves have come off, I can shred the stems and they can go on the beds as well for mulch. So lots been done, lots yet to do. This little cubbyhole over here is going to be cleared out and become something a little more pretty. I can't wait to clear a little bit more in here and make this more of a feature as well, especially with these bushes here, trim it a bit more. This is now the compost pile for a while, because there used to be a pond in here many years ago. It was taken out and we're slowly filling it in with chop and drop stuff, and it's becoming a very nice bed. And over here we've got some lovely Welsh poppies that are still flowering in November. I have taken Welsh poppy seeds though and just spread them around the garden so that we can keep them going, literally, just because I have been chopping and dropping and mulching this bed as well, so I will just keep spreading the Welsh poppies around. Definitely worth it. Lots more to do, but what a joy to do it. So that's a catch up on the Secret Garden project. School garden, I went there yesterday and had a look. It's an absolute mess. Obviously the big trees there have been shedding leaves everywhere, so it looks awful. There's been a lot of water coming out of the one drain and running down the paths and making a mess there. I can't do anything about that. I have reported the drain needs fixing, but I don't know that they're going to do anything about it. But there is some things I can do, like raking up all those leaves and putting them on the beds to mulch around the fruit bushes and trees. And I can still prepare a few more beds with some sheet mulching and compost for spring. But that's about all we could do. And then ornament the garden. I can overwinter indoors. I can make lots of little garden ornaments. The children have collected lots of plastic milk bottle caps, which we could make some mobiles and things with. I can make all sorts of things through the winter, ready for the garden in the spring. So I can do that. But I'll show you next month, before they go on school holidays for Christmas. I'll show you a little video of the school garden There's not much happening there, but just a quick little 2-minute catch up. But for now, this is it. Checking out from the secret garden, in the making that is. And I shall check in with you again soon. Have a lovely week, people. Bye bye.